In this video, I will show you how to use layouts and admin dashboard using Spring Boot and Thymeleaf. So I will show you how to use the same navbar and footer in different pages. So this is the home page, this is the contact page, and this is the privacy page, and all of them are using the same navbar and the same footer. Then I will show you how to use admin dashboard. So if we click on dashboard, we obtain this layout. So it is used by the dashboard page, by the orders page, and also by the products page. And if we click on the name of the application, we obtain the main layout. First, let's create a new Spring Boot project. So here let's select Java, Maven, and the latest version of Spring Boot. Then let's provide the group ID. So here we can write com.bmt, for example. And let's provide a name to this application. We can call it Web App. Then let's add the dependencies. So first we need Spring Web. Then we need Thymeleaf. So this is all what we need in this video, but if you need more dependencies, then you can add them. Now let's download the application. So I will save it on the desktop. So this is the downloaded file. Now we need to open the application using an IDE. I will open it using IntelliJ IDEA. Then let's create a controller. So let's create a new package. And let's call it controllers. Then let's create a new class. And let's call it home controller. So this is a controller and we need to annotate it with the controller annotation. Then let's create some routes. So here I created 3 routes. We have the route URL that is accessible using the get method, and it will return the index page. So this page does not exist for the moment, and later we need to create it. Then we have this route /contact. It is accessible using the get method, and it will return the contact page. And finally we have this route that will return the privacy page. Now let's create the different pages in the templates folder. So in the templates folder, let's create a new file. So here we can either select file or HTML file. I will choose HTML file. And let's call it index. Then let's create the contact page and the privacy page. Let's go to the index page, and here in the body we can display a text. Then let's run the application. So let's go to the main file and let's run it. So here the application is running correctly and it is available at this port number. So here let's type localhost :8080. And we obtain this page. So now I will show you how to use layouts. So here we can type Thymeleaf layouts. Then let's go to the first link. So here we can see that we have several options to use Thymeleaf layouts. This is the first option. Then here we have the second option. And the last option is to use custom layouts. So in this video I will show you how to use the second option, which is Thymeleaf layout dialect. So for more details we can click on this link and we obtain the GitHub page of this layout. So here we can see that we need to create a layout file. So this is the layout file, and we need to create a section that will contain the content of the different pages. So this section should contain the attribute layout fragment, and this is the name of the section. Then we will use this layout file with the different pages. So this is one page that is using this layout file. And in this page, we can see that we have the attribute layout decorate that indicates the name of the layout file that should be used. And this is added in the HTML tag. Then we have a section that contains the content of the page. So the content of this section will be displayed in the layout file in the section having the same name. Now to use this layout, let's scroll down and let's click on Getting Started. So in this page we can see that to use the layout we need to install a new dependency. So this is the group ID and this is the artifact ID. We don't need to provide the version because it is managed by Spring Boot. Now let's add this dependency to our project. So let's go to the POM file. Then in the dependencies tag, we need to create a new dependency. So we can add this dependency. This is the group ID and this is the artifact ID. Then here we need to register a new bean. So let's copy this code. And let's paste it in the main class. So we can paste it in this file. Now let's create the layout file that will be used by the different pages. So in the templates folder, let's create a new folder. And let's call it layouts. Then let's create a new HTML file. And let's call it main layout. So in this video, I will show you how to use Bootstrap. So let's go back to the browser. And here let's type Bootstrap. Let's go to the first link, then docs. Then let's copy this code that includes Bootstrap, CSS and JavaScript from the CDN. Then let's change the title of the window. So here we can write Best Store, for example. So this is the body and we have this text. We don't need it, so let's delete it. Then in the body, let's create the navbar. So let's go back to the browser. And under components, let's click on navbar. And let's copy this source code that allows us to obtain this navbar. Then let's paste it in the body. So here we can change the name of the application in the navbar. And let's set the URL to the root URL. Then here we can see that we are using the container fluid class that will take the full width of the page. And to leave some space at the left and at the right, we can delete fluid. Then in the navbar, we can add a bottom margin. So in the navbar, we can see that we have the home item that is using the active class. Let's delete active and let's replace it with text dark. Also, we don't need this attribute, so let's delete it. And let's set the URL to the root URL. Then here we have the link item. Let's call it contact. Let's set the URL to /contact. And here let's add the text dark class. Then let's add another item for the privacy page. So we can copy this and let's paste it here. Then here let's write privacy. Let's set the URL to /privacy. Then we have this drop-down list. So in the text we can write admin, for example. And let's display it at the right of the navbar. So let's cut this code. Let's delete this item, we don't need it. Then let's delete this form. And to display the drop-down list at the right, we need to create a new UL element after this UL element. So just here we can create a new UL element. Then let's paste the code of the drop-down list. And this UL element requires this Bootstrap class. So let's copy the name of the class. Then here let's add class and let's paste the name. So because we have this Bootstrap class, the first UL element will take the full width of the navbar. This means that the second UL element will be displayed at the right. Then let's create a div where we will display the content of the different pages. So just after the navbar, we can create a div. And let's use the container class of Bootstrap. Then we need to add a Thymeleaf attribute that allows us to display the content of the different pages inside this div. So here let's click on Home. And let's copy this attribute. Then let's paste it here. So here we can see that we have this warning. It is not an error, it is a simple warning. And to get rid of this warning, we can add an attribute in the HTML tag. So just here, we can add this attribute. So now we can see that it is not displayed using the red color anymore. Then let's create the footer of the page. Then let's use this layout in the different pages. So let's go to the index page and let's create a div with the name content, which is the name that we have here. So we can copy all of this div. Let's delete this and let's paste the div. So here we still have the warning, and to get rid of it, just here in the HTML tag, we can add this attribute. So in this div, let's display a text. So we can add this title and this paragraph. And to use this layout file in the HTML tag, we need to add another attribute. So let's go to the website of the layout and let's copy this attribute. Then let's paste it here. Then let's provide the name of the layout file. So in our case it is available in the layouts folder. So just here we can write layouts, which is the name of the folder, slash the name of the file, which is mainlayout.html. So because we already defined the title in the main layout, we don't need the title here anymore. So we can delete these two elements. Then let's do the same thing with the other pages. So let's copy this code and let's update the contact page. Let's delete this code and let's paste the source code. So here we can write contact page. And let's change this paragraph. Let's copy the code and let's do the same thing with this file. Then let's update the title and the paragraph. Let's run the application. Then let's refresh the page. So this time we can see that we have this navbar and this footer, and this is the content of the index page. Let's go to the contact page. So we can see that we are using the same layout, and this is the content of the page. And this is the privacy page. Now I will show you how to add the admin dashboard. So I already prepared this folder that contains the admin dashboard. So this is the admin dashboard that we will add to the application. So for more details how to set up this admin dashboard, you can see the video link that is available in the description. Now let's go back to the application and let's create a new controller. Let's call it dashboard controller. Then let's annotate it with the controller annotation. Then let's add some routes. So we can create the route /admin/dashboard that will display the dashboard file that should be available in the admin folder that we need to create in the templates folder. And this route will be accessible using the get method. Then we have this route that will display the orders page. Then we have this route that will display the products page. Now let's create these 3 pages. So first let's create the admin folder. Then let's create the different pages. First let's create the dashboard page. Then let's create the orders page. And finally let's create the products page. Then let's create the admin layout. So in the layouts folder, let's create a new file. And let's call it admin layout. So in this file, we will use the source code of the dashboard that I already created, which is this file. So let's open it using an editor. And let's copy the source code. Let's delete this code and let's paste the source code. So to use this template, we need to add some resources to the static folder. So we need to copy the assets folder, the CSS folder, and the JavaScript folder. Let's copy all of them and let's paste them in the static folder. And here we can see that we have these 3 folders. So to be able to access them from this file, we need to provide the path. So here for the JavaScript folder, let's add slash. Let's add slash to the assets folder as well. Let's do the same thing with this resource and with this resource. And let's do the same thing with the CSS folder. So here we have the name of the application and the navbar. So let's provide the correct URL, which will be the root URL. Then here we have the different items of the sidebar. So we have the dashboard item, the orders item, the products item, and we have more items. So let's update the URL of the first 3 items. So here we can write /admin/dashboard. Then for the orders item, we can write /admin/orders. And for the products item, the URL will be /admin/products. Then let's define the section that will contain the content of the different pages that will use this layout. So here we can see that we have the main element that contains this div. So just here in this div, we can add the Thymeleaf attribute, which is layout fragment, and this is the name of the section. So here we can see that we have this warning. We can add the Thymeleaf attribute in the HTML tag, but this is not required. Then we can move this content to the dashboard page. So let's cut the code of this div. So from here till this div. So we can see that this div is empty now. Now let's update the dashboard page. So in the dashboard page, we need to create a new div with the name of this section, which is content. Then let's paste the source code. Then let's add the attributes to this div. So we can copy them from here. Then let's provide the name of the layout that should be used. So here in the HTML tag. Also, we can delete the title because we will use the title that is defined in the layout file. So we can delete these 2 elements. So in this div that will contain the content of the page, we can add the class attribute, but also we can delete it because we will use the classes of the div that has this name in this layout file. So we can delete this. Then let's update the orders page and the products page. So in this page we will use the admin layout and we will display this content. Then let's update the products page. So we will use the same layout and this is the content of the page. Then let's add a link to the dashboard page in the main layout. So here we have this drop-down list that contains these 3 items. So here we can write a dashboard, for example. Then let's provide the URL of the dashboard page. So here let's write /admin/dashboard. Let's run the application. So if we go to the home page, we have the main layout. The contact page uses the main layout, the same for the privacy page. And when we go to the dashboard page, we obtain the admin dashboard. So we are using the admin layout in the dashboard page and also in the orders page and in the products page. And if we go to the root URL, we have the main layout.